Before this video begins, I'd like to thank Square Enix for sponsoring this video, as thanks to them, we were able to receive a review copy of Strangers of Paradise Final Fantasy Origin Digital Deluxe Edition for PC through the Epic Games Store. So, thank you once again to Square Enix, and let's head into the review. It's a bit hard to figure out where to start this video, outside of telling you the curveball that will be surrounding this review. I learned about Strangers of Paradise Final Fantasy Origin like most people did, at Square Enix's 2021 E3 presentation, and since then, I didn't watch a single trailer of the game. My anticipation for Strangers of Paradise was completely based upon that original announcement trailer and any sort of memes that passed my way. This will be the first game to sell 1 trillion copies, a cultural reset. I hope it does. I'll be transparent right now, I really enjoyed what I've played of Strangers of Paradise Final Fantasy Origin. I haven't finished it yet, I've got 4 missions left, but I've had fun with what I've experienced. So, let's get into the review of the first Final Fantasy game I've ever played. Moving past the introductory tutorial, you take the role of Jack Garland. Well, he first introduces himself as wanting to kill Chaos, but then he introduces himself as Jack.
Look, and crystals can sense each other.
You have one too, don't you?
My mission is to kill Chaos. That's all I know.
He, along with 2 other strangers by the name of Jed and Ash, are also on the hunt for Chaos, and are in possession of these crystals. By the prophecy of Cornelia, the kingdom that serves as their refuge, these 3 should be the Warriors of Light. However, not only are the crystals missing their unique and colorful shine, but the prophecy calls for 4 Warriors of Light. But that doesn't necessarily matter to Jack. What matters is killing Chaos.
Why court danger so eagerly? What could you possibly hope to gain?
All I care about is seeing Chaos dead. I need to. It's not a hope or a dream. It's like a hunger, a thirst.
With the determination recognized, the gang heads to the Chaos Shrine, and after traversing towards its final room, the Throne Room, an Arbor Knight sits at the throne.
Chaos!
Chaos! Chaos! Okay, but I gotta change my clothes first.
Chaos.
No. I am to become him. And who are you?
We're here to kill Chaos.
The prophecy's very own Warriors of Light.
Really?
Getting knocked out after beating me up a few times, the gang approaches the fallen knight and prepares to unmask him. And that's where I'll stop. I won't go into more specific details about the events that occur, but I will mention aspects of the story as we continue with the review. Although we went from Cornelia to the Chaos Shrine, you don't actually travel all the way there. Instead, you pick an available area on the world map, select the mission, main story mission or side mission once you complete that area's main mission, and you're teleported there, usually introduced with a cutscene. On the world map, you can also manage your inventory and equipment, but I'm wasting time at this point. Let's get into the meat of Strangers of Paradise Final Fantasy Origin, the action. As stated earlier, Strangers of Paradise has you taking the role of Jack, and to my experience, only Jack. Traveling with Jed and Ash, or one or none, since you can remove them from your party, you'll be traversing a specific environment, hacking and slashing your way through enemies in order to make your way to the boss that resides at the level's conclusion. However, it's not just about making your way to the end, it's about surviving. As you make your way through your main missions, you'll find yourself facing many enemies. Some are common fodder, some are stronger and will flinch a lot less often. Then there are also the instances within the middle of the level where the only way to progress is by destroying the Dark Fence, an obscured wall that the enemies will come from. This will usually not only provide a path of progression, but a path to return to the beginning of the level and save. Yeah, you'll be in these environments for a while, so of course you'll need to save, but you can't do that whenever you please, which is what can really make the journey more about survival. You see, at the start of each level and at other distant, well-placed spots, there will be these cubes. These cubes not only serve as your save point, but they do a number of other things. Upon touching them, your HP and MP will be refilled to the max, your potion inventory will be automatically stocked, and you can customize your job skill trees, change your party organization, and manage all your inventory. However, there is another side effect to the cubes. Upon touching them, every monster that you fought against will respawn. This means that if you needed to backtrack to some cubes for safety, you won't be let off easy on your path to reprogressing. Also, don't worry about backtracking. The areas that you're exploring aren't that vast, and it's well designed to allow you to easily go back and forwards through either ropes or ladders you can set. Increasing on the aspect of survival, if you're like me, you'll go headstrong into the next level even if your equipment isn't up to the area suggested level. Thus, this will make Strangers of Paradise feel like its combat focuses mostly on defense rather than offense for both the player and the enemies. Of course, if you exploit an enemy's weakness, they'll take more damage. In addition to doing that, you'll also tear away at the break gauge over their head. Once you drop it to 0, Jack can show his true power with a soul burst, where he'll take the weakened enemy and kill them off in the most spectacular and over the top way possible. You also have your own break gauge you'll need to pay attention to. With your regular guard, it'll chip down with every hit you defend yourself from. But if you time a soul shield, you can parry your enemy's attacks or absorb specific abilities they'll try to use against you, thus allowing you to use it for yourself. However, if you get too eager, you'll end up putting yourself in a dangerous situation, as keeping your soul shield active will rapidly consume the break gauge, running the risk of you getting broken and becoming vulnerable momentarily. Not only that, but if you're too weak, getting hit by strong attacks can instantly break you down, which will make the trial of survival even more difficult. So, once again, if you don't want to deal with that, do yourself a favor and play those side missions. But if you're like me, an underdog climbing their way to go kick Chaos's ass, then we ought to move forward fearlessly. Now, it might be a bit weird that I'm getting into the other side of the gameplay, the combat, a bit later than usual. Well, as stated by some of the game's designers, Strangers of Paradise is indirectly influenced by Nioh, Ninja Gaiden, Dark Souls, and Devil May Cry. The last two being games that I own, but all of them being games I haven't yet played. I can't speak to how those games play, but Strangers of Paradise is quite freeing in how it allows you to play it. Jack having the ability to equip 2 job types at the same time, and being able to special cancel between them, the ability to customize combo finishers, your equipment to build up affinities of your currently selected jobs, or other jobs for additional status effects, I never felt as if I was limited by the game itself, only by my own current skill level. Additionally, Jack's personality didn't feel set in stone the way I thought he would. Yeah, he might be one-track minded and wanting to kill Chaos, but as the story progresses, you'll watch him loosen up in some spots and show consideration for his teammates' concerns and emotions, still accepting them even if they may detract from his own interest or if secrets get revealed.
Get away from the wall.
I know.
Sorry, I'm just trying to be helpful.
I'm not mad. It's just how I am. You are helpful. Sometimes.
That's practically a compliment coming from you.
Going back to the story, I can see where some people may end up feeling like there's something missing. Like Kingdom Hearts and The World Ends With You, Strangers of Paradise does the same thing where the lore of the story is hidden within different levels, and this game already isn't that direct. However, while show don't tell is the way you should usually go about things in writing, aspects of Strangers of Paradise's narrative will have you realize that this isn't simply just telling, this is part of the showing. Won't say much further than that, but the information hidden within those secret notes will help contextualize themselves and add credence to the plot that it builds up, while also giving the player the extra satisfaction of learning about how the world works or what may already be in motion. However, once again, I haven't beat the game, so maybe my opinions will change. Something could happen that drastically changes my perspective of the game, and if that does happen, I'll write about it. Aside from that though, I've been having a struggling blast with Strangers of Paradise Final Fantasy Origin. Not having as much fun with the game's performance though. While these may be my specs in comparison to the recommended and minimum specs, Strangers of Paradise does feature some poor PC optimization. People have looked at the models and Jesus Christ, did the characters really need that much detail in their hair? However, they're also making efforts to patch the game, so hopefully these will be addressed later. If you've already purchased Strangers of Paradise, I hope you've also been having a fun time. But if you haven't,
Bullshit.